It is mandatory that I hate on the Eagles because I'm a Cowboys fan. You have to do it. How old is Dak? 26. Let me look that up real quick. I think today is his birthday. He is now getting closer to actually figuring that out. He is 26. Yep, he turned 26 today. Dak, actually, Rain Dakota Prescott. My Eagles do not, I repeat, do not want to be the Cowboys. Maybe you guys do deep down. Scandrick probably will not make the team. I agree with you. Maybe it's a camp body. Maybe that's what it is. But continuously, you guys continue to do that. And you cannot deny that you continue to pick up former Dallas Cowboys. Upsetting news if you're a Bengals fan, if you're an A.J. Green fan, if you're a fantasy football fan. A.J. Green suffered a sprained ankle. That happened this weekend. He is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a torn ligaments in his ankle. I hate that for A.J. Green. It seems like every single year, A.J. Green is injured. I hate that for him because I want him to be the best throughout his entire career. I don't want him to have to struggle to be healthy because that affects you. That affects your psyche. That affects your money. That affects you having the ability to maximize your career. And I'm sure he wants to be a Hall of Famer. I'm sure he'll go down to the Barbers. But it's difficult for him to do that because he is injured often. I don't know if there's 1 year that he played an entire season. Shout out to Tiffany Sports and Hills in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Breaking down the track and field on Chief Rockers Show. Don't forget you helped me set up waterbed, son, to earn Jordan money. You're right about that. You are right about that. Oh, classic right there. My dad used to work, I'm going to do a little tangent right here, but my dad used to work for this company called The Bedroom. Used to put together water beds, used to put together beds, period. Used to go with him, used to help. I don't know how much helping I was doing. I was probably doing a lot of watching and a lot of maybe handing him the tools, but shout out to my pops giving me that work ethic. Courtney says, time for Tyler Boyd to step in. I definitely agree. Shout out to H-Rap B, the 606 King in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Also, Jim, I think this is John Harbaugh, who's the coach of the Ravens, talking about Lamar Jackson is going to be running more this year. He was asked about running 139 times. It was a question that someone asked him. He said, take the over, which means Lamar is probably going to have free reign, which I think he should. That's a part of his game. Don't alter his game. Don't try to change it. But I would say give him the tools so that he does not end up being a running quarterback that gets injured. So I would say continue to develop him, but let him do his thing. And I'm actually happy to hear this. I'm happy to hear that he's going to have his opportunity to do what he does best, and that's play his game. So I'm looking forward to the Ravens this upcoming year. Major League Baseball news. As we get closer and closer to the trade deadline, we actually had a trade go down, and that was Marcus Stroman, who's was a pitcher of the Blue Jays. He got traded last night to the Mets. The New York Mets acquired Marcus Stroman. He's an ace. He is a top pitcher in Major League Baseball. Hopefully that helps. The Mets. I don't know how good they are, but I would say hopefully that helps the Mets this year. I like Marcus Stroman. He definitely, like I said, is a top pitcher, but he's got that it factor that you need when it talks about a pitching staff. The Mets, right now, they're fourth in the NL East. They're 50-55, and they're going to try to make a push. I don't know how much of a push they're going to be able to make, but they're going to try to make a push. So Marcus Stroman gets traded. Trade deadline coming up the 31st, next couple of days. The Twins also acquire Sergio Romo from the Marlins. The Twins trying to make some noise as well. And this is kind of what you have. You get closer to the trade deadline, you have these teams that want to improve. They want to try to make a run. The Twins are 64-41. They are the top of the AL Central. So they're going to do their thing. And the Rangers, my Rangers are 53-53. They are 14.5 games behind in the AL West. They still have a shot to possibly make the wild card. But one of their pitchers actually decides to retire after the season. Edinson Volquez. If you're a Rangers fan or if you're a baseball fan, you may remember him. He was a highly touted guy. Helped the Royals. I believe he was on that Royals team that went to the World Series. But he is saying he's going to retire after this year. So he's getting ready to hang it up. But yeah, he was a member of that Royals team that went to the World Series and won it in 2015 over the Mets. The National figures the only way to beat the Braves was to hurt a couple of players, says Mochis. Also, very good news, David Ortiz is back at home. He says it's priceless to be back at home with family. After the shooting he was involved in, this was about 7 weeks ago, but he is back at home recovering. I don't wish anyone getting shot. I don't at all. And he was in critical condition at one point in time. So that's great news to hear. He is back home, resting. Took a picture on his Instagram. He was grilling some steak. So shout out to David Ortiz. I'm glad he's back. So we are going to take a break. And then when we get back, we got UFC talk. We got boxing talk. Title of today's show, Happy Birthday to none other than Dak Prescott. That's my quarterback. In the words of T.O., that's my quarterback. So we'll take a quick break. Also, you can put the Benny Award winners in the chat room. If you ask, what is a Benny Award? It's the top performers of the weekend. It could be however many you have. Put it in the chat room whenever you want. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. You tune into the Weekend Wrap-Up Show, episode 138.
We all hate when we have unexpected car problems. Well, I am here to tell you about a viable solution. Bay 11 Auto and my man Melvin. You have emission problems? Brakes need changing? Transmission slipping? Is your car just driving sluggish? No problem is too big. I live on the other side of town and I drive over an hour to a guy that I trust. Melvin is honest, dependable, and definitely not in the business to break your pockets. Come see the official mechanic Melvin at Bay 11 Auto. You will be glad you did. You can reach him at 1455 General Arts Road, Conyers, Georgia, or 404-295-5715. That's 404-295-5715.
This is Mocha Bella, and you're tuned into the X Squad Radio Network, where we're changing listening habits 24/7.
Welcome back to the Weekend Wrap-Up Show, episode 138. Happy birthday to Dak, my quarterback. Courtney Harden says Benny Award to Delia Muhammad, winning and beating the world record in the 400 meter in the rain. Definitely. Tiffany Sports and Hills echoes that, who broke the 16-year-old record in the 400 hurdles in the rain. So you guys, great minds think alike. Both of you guys thinking alike right there. There was a former Dallas Cowboys player, Michael Irvin, was on First Take this morning, and he said the star is not the star without Zeke. And he rants that they can't win the Super Bowl without Ezekiel Elliott. You have to agree with that. He's not saying anything incorrect. I think you have to agree with that, because without Zeke, Zeke is the engine with this. Without Zeke, it is very difficult for this offense to move the way it should move. So I think he's got a great point. All right, UFC 240. And Tiffany Sports and Hills also says, Benny Award to all the first-time pro athletes who stepped up and made the World Championships team. And definitely shout out to them. UFC 240, Cyborg bounces back. Now, she did have a battle with Felicia Spencer, but she ends up winning. And then she calls out Amanda Nunes, which was her only loss in the UFC. So Cyborg is a monster of an MMA fighter, but she can be beat. Obviously, she did lose to Amanda Nunes. She did lose to Amanda Nunes. So she wants a rematch, which I think she should definitely get a rematch, because then you can see if that was a fluke or if Cyborg is just not as good as Amanda Nunes. And you had Dana White calling her out, saying that she wants to leave the UFC to possibly go to a lesser standing MMA type league or federation, which I don't know how much of that is true or false. But I would definitely say he probably would not say that to her face, because she would immediately knock him out or put him in a chokehold or something. So be careful what you say about Cyborg, because if she catch you on the street, you'll be taking a nap. You'll be taking a nap on the curb, because I know she does not play. And I would not to her. But Cyborg bounces back. We'll see what happens with the rest of her UFC career. Also, Max Holloway beats Frankie Edgar, unanimous decision, wins the belt. He is 5-0 in featherweight title fights. Shout out to Max Holloway. The story was coming out which I didn't really want to talk about it, because I don't know how much of it is true or false, and I don't like to spread stuff that I don't really know that much about. But Dana White says John Jones will fight again, which obviously, this is John Bones Jones. This is the guy that is arguably the best MMA fighter of all time. So yes, he is going to fight again. I don't know. There was a story that he did something he wasn't supposed to do, and he ended up getting charged with whatever the full story is. Like I said, I'm not going to go that deep into it because I don't really know. But I do believe he will fight again in the UFC, because he has gone through 2 failed drug tests and he has come back. So at this point, I don't think there's anything that can hold him from coming back. But it was a battery charge that he received in New Mexico. But I think it'll get squashed, and I don't think nothing will come of it. In my opinion. All right, so we got some comments here in the chat room. Shout out to DJ Knox in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Benny nominees to Lincoln and Lyric Turner finishes 9th and 6th in the triathlon at the AAU Junior Olympic